Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. Welcome to another edition of Homie Picks. Man, that has been a while to say that. We have definitely been away for far too long. We should have left you without a dope beat to step to, but we're back at it again. Right for another NFL. Damn, has it really already been 6 months, 7 months since the Super Bowl?
It's been too
Wow.
long. It's been too long.
A lot of things has happened in the meantime, not just in terms of life, but in terms of sports in general. You have basketball, you have hockey, you have baseball still
We
going
can, we can skip basketball and we can skip baseball. Skip right over.
on, especially because we're
Skip right
all
over.
Yankee fans here, and we've been struggling. The season could have ended in July; we would have been happy, but it
Yeah,
kept
Aaron Judge is about to go on IR.
it's
His back is hurting him from carrying the team. So,
it sucks because it's been the healthiest he's been in his career, and the fact that, like the team has been falling apart, like essentially since Stanton went down and came back and yada yada. But well, that's another day for another show. We're gonna talk about football. We're back at it with football. But before we can get into that, fellas, before we talk about last year's stuff, how's things been with y'all? Like how has your off season been? Lou, how's your off season been?
it's been a grind. I mean, I thought the Yankees would, supplant the pain of not having football, but after the All-Star break, I guess they never came back. So, it's been good. Work's been crazy. Same old. But I'm glad to be back in the lab with you guys.
Right.
Us three haven't been together in 6 months. Even on our other platforms with A2021Visions, all three collectively haven't been there. So, it's good to be back in the saddle with you fellas.
Absolutely. Ben, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, man, same here. A little disappointing with the way the Yankees are playing now. They went in stumbling into All-Star break and they haven't recovered, so that one hurts. Especially since I have Met fans and family members, and they just like,
Yap,
they,
yap, 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 yap.
yeah. Um, but it's been good. I mean, crazy off season for NFL, seeing some crazy moves there and injuries. So we have a lot to cover. I mean, it should be a fun year. Looking forward to it again, fellas.
Definitely. I know I always find that funny when Met fans start chirping off. It's like, and they start throwing up, oh, y'all talk about 27 rings, yada yada. What have y'all done in the lifetime that you've been alive? That's
Right.
I've seen my
Right.
team win a few of them in my lifetime. What have you what have you seen in your lifetime? And most of them around our age have only seen the Mets. If you were alive to see the '86 win, then you probably were barely alive.
You were just born.
You probably were barely allowed to see that. Otherwise than that, you've only seen the Mets had some nice little stuff in the season, fall off in the postseason, or not make the postseason. You've seen them lose to the Yankees in the Subway Series. You've seen them also lose to
the Royals.
To the Royals. So, I mean, what have y'all really seen? So, I mean, y'all Met fans can't talk, but I love y'all all the same. I have no hate for any team except for a couple teams that's either in New England or in Dallas. Otherwise than that, I have no hate for anybody's team. Even as a Net fan, I don't hate the Knicks. I don't hate the Mets. My grandfather was a Knicks fan. He was a Met fan. I have no hate for those teams. I have hate for the erroneous fans who talk way too damn much, like they've seen shit. No, stop the cap. But that's sports, and I think that's the beauty of sports. It makes everybody talk the most shit that they can mostly talk. I think that is actually the best thing about sports is that we may fall. It's two things that's going to divide a lot of people: politics and sports. Those are the two things that's always going to divide us as people. And it's also going to be the one thing that also kind of makes us combine as one. Definitely sports makes us combine as one.
Yeah.
But get into that, last year, in terms of the football season, the the worst teams. I mean, it's pretty been it's been a trend, I guess, with these two worst teams. Jacksonville at 3-14. Detroit was right behind them. They would have they would have been tied if they weren't 3-13-1. Yes, they had a tie. So Jacksonville, that was the worst team. Detroit was the second worst team. That's no surprise there. That's kind of been consistent over the past few years. It's funny how you think about Jacksonville when they first came into the league back in what, 98, 96,
Yeah.
98. You know, like Mark Brunell made it was a brand new team. They were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, they were doing things, and it's funny how far that team has fallen since then.
That's the thing. They've had some success even with Blake Bortles. Remember that one? They made it to the playoffs.
Vaguely.
So it's like, wow.
You know, the Detroit has never really had much success. You know, they've had great players, Megatron, Barry Sanders, but you know, they've never really had much success. The last year, the two best teams tied for the record, 3-4, sorry, 13-4. Green Bay, sorry, the two Bay teams, Green Bay and Tampa Bay. So you know, they were the two, in terms of regular season, they were the two best. However, they weren't the two that was last standing in the Super Bowl. That honor fell to the LA Rams and the Cincinnati Bengals, which the Rams, if anybody did not know, won the Super Bowl last year, 23-20. It was a hell of a game. I definitely would say we definitely saw an emergence of Cincinnati that nobody ever saw. I honestly thought, even though I think I did pick the Bengals to win, I'm surprised that Joe Burrow's still alive, because that man had no offensive line back then. He had zero offensive line. We'll talk about what they've done since to improve his life chances. But to start off on our 2022 season, let's actually start with the Super Bowl winners division, the NFC West. The Rams were 12-5. San Fran was 10-7. Arizona was 11-6, and the lowly Seattle Seahawks were 7-10. Going into this year, you know, you have free agency, you've had the draft. What stands out to you from any of these teams, Ben?
Well, Seattle is not tanking, but tanking. I mean, if you're going in with Geno Smith and Locke, I mean, you're just begging for that losing season. So I think that's their plan. They're rebuilding. They're not saying full out there they're going to tank. They just know those guys aren't up to par. But I think that was the biggest one. I was just shocked. They just gave Russell Wilson away, basically. So, but I think that was my biggest surprise there in that division. I just didn't. I didn't expect them to get rid of Russell just like that, or at least for nothing. I mean, they didn't get nothing in return. I mean, that's really what surprised me.
Look,
for me, it's what San Francisco didn't trade away, and Jimmy G. I think they're probably built. They probably have the best backup and starting quarterback, I think, in that conference, in that division. Yeah. I mean, Arizona only got Kyler. Stafford has an elbow injury that's nagging. So, I mean, San Francisco is primed to win that division this year. So, I'm taking San Fran on that one.
Yeah, you know, for me, I know I picked San Fran last year and they let me down. They definitely had a lull through the season. You know, my thing is with each team, you know, well, for most teams in this conference, they're tough, except for Seattle. Seattle definitely I have no faith in Seattle after Russell left. But even when he was there, you kind of saw them falling back. I'm gonna call him dual wielding Donald, because that's what dual wielding Donald does. My man, if anybody saw the whole preseason practice, with two helmets, was swinging like it was Minecraft. um, trying to take people out. I am on the side of that motherfucker should be suspended. I don't care if it's and yes, there is actually rule to it. If it doesn't happen in the game, then
he can't do nothing.
There's no penalty to it. But to me, it's like whether it's in a game or not, or practice or not, this is the same thing that cost what's my man from Cincinnati? Cleveland, Myles Garrett. It's the same thing that caused Myles Garrett a lot. Granted, it was in a game,
it was in the
national
game.
TV, but here's the difference between if this was just national TV and whatnot. We're in a society now, and this is kind of where the rules need to kind of update themselves. This is social media times. You just can't brush things under the rug anymore and be like, well, we didn't see it. It didn't happen on national TV, so we didn't see it. Everybody saw that. And not only that, you're putting the lives of other players in jeopardy by doing that. Yeah. Because you could have not just took out the two people whose helmets you took off and took their career from them, because he was swinging in full rage. Like it was full swings. Yeah. Not even half swings, but even if it's a half swing, that helmet, if anybody has touched a helmet, that hurts. Yeah. It hurts. And if you're swinging that thing and you landing and you hit somebody, thankfully, nobody got injured. But if somebody got injured and he caused somebody, are you now going to complain about whatnot? Like the Rams could take a stance and penalize him. That's their star. They're not really going to do much. They may do a love tap of a fine for that. Right. They're not gonna throw away their season, for something like that, to try to say, we should do the right thing by players in general. Some of these players may never be, they may be a practice squad after a while. They may not, and not to talk about another person's podcast, but, Aaron Rodgers was on McAfee he was on Rogan, and he explained the process of what happens to a lot of these practice players and whatnot, especially during COVID, and how it's kind of a lowly system. So, like if he could have cost somebody's career on that, it could have been, way worse than what it is now. With San Fran, as Lou said, Jimmy G is still there. I have no idea where they go in terms of what is his role in terms of a backup or a mentorship, because this is Trey Lance's time. It's as simple as that. I don't know where Trey takes them. Being that this is now his time to shine. I think maybe the first 5 weeks or so, he may shine, because nobody's really going to have much of a game plan for him per se. But eventually people are going to figure out what's kind of going on, and then develop more of a thing from there. Seattle, nobody's really impressed by anything they've done. It's more a shock of how you just let Russell go for nothing. And when it comes to the Cardinals, I just don't know where their growth is, especially Kyler's. I just don't know where Kyler goes from there. Yes, he has really good receivers, but at the same time, I just don't know what really happens. I know they got James Conner. They have Ertz still. They have Max Williams. So I know they have some good stuff, but they have people on short-term deals just to try to aid through the process. But I just really don't have too much faith in the Cardinals. If I had to pick between San Fran, which is probably going to be what I'm going to do, between San Fran and LA Rams, per se, shall I say, I'm still never really sold on Matt Stafford. I know he had a great season, but I think somehow, some way, I think it's going to be a Super Bowl drop for the Rams. I don't think they're going to repeat. I don't think they're going to be better than the 12-5 they were last year. So I'm going to go with San Fran to be the division winner on this one. Ben, I don't think I got your.
No, I didn't pick a division winner. This one for me, like I don't trust Zona, like you said. I just don't trust Kingsbury. I feel like they always start off strong, but then they fade towards the end. So they get figured out, and they just never make the adjustments. So I see them probably ending up third there. I see it between Stanford and the Rams myself, but I don't have as much confidence in Trey yet. I have to see him play a little bit more. Too many from reporting that I've read, it's just that his accuracy is not there. So if the accuracy is not there, they might struggle. But then again, they have a good stable of backs, so we'll see what they do. But I think it'll be close between them two. But I see the Rams probably just pull ahead. I don't think they'll have as many wins as they did last year, but I think they'll win this division.
All right, I see that. We'll see what happens when in regards to that. Moving on to lose division, the NFC East.
NFC East.
We had the division leader, Dallas Cowboys. Sorry, 12-5. The Philadelphia Eagles at 9-8. The Washington Commanders at 7-10, and the 4-13 New York Football Giants, which is Lou's team. He bleeds Big Blue. So I'm gonna start with you, Lou. For the East, what are your comments and who are you picking?
Biggest takeaway is how scary the Eagles look on paper. Man, their offensive line, their defensive line, mean. They only got better. They added AJ Brown. They gave Jalen Hurts a weapon. Hopefully Miles Sanders comes back healthy and he gets to play. Dallas, I think, took a step back. The O-line is Swiss cheese. The Commanders, I don't think they have yet to figure themselves out. They just got another quarterback. He is familiar with the NFC East. You know, he was the Eagles quarterback 2 years ago. So they got some familiar there. And then my Giants really didn't do much to impress me in the offseason. I mean, we got better on the O-line. I love the pick with Kayvon Thibodeau, but he's injured right now. So let's see what happens. Saquon needs to stay healthy for us to do anything. And we paid Kenny Golladay to catch as many balls as I did last year. So, yeah. I'm saying this is the Eagles division to lose. They're probably the best team in this division. And yeah, that's it. I'm taking the Eagles this year to win it. The division, I should say.
The soaring Eagles to win the NFC East. Ben, do you agree? What are your comments and who are you picking?
Yeah, I'm actually with Lou on this one. I think the Eagles have the better team right now. It's gonna be a make or break year for Jalen Hurts. I feel like because they got him the weapons. So it's really up to him. He has to improve his accuracy and taking those easy throws. Sometimes he just misses them wide open. So if he can clean that up, clean up his accuracy, they can run away with this division because, like you mentioned, Dallas, the line is hurt. They got no weapons really outside of what's this kid's name? I forget his name already. Because they lost Cooper.
Yeah.
CeeDee
Lamb or somebody else?
CeeDee Lamb, right? CeeDee Lamb's gonna be their number one, and that's behind that they don't have anybody else really. And Dak, to me, he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a quarterback that can carry a team. I mean, the numbers show it. He sucks when he didn't have Amari Cooper, and now he's not gonna have him for full season. So I see them struggling. Commanders, I just don't trust Carson Wentz. I've lived through it. He finds a way to make the dumb play in the most important time of the game. So that's really his fallback. I mean, and they were gonna go with a rookie with the rookie running back, and he got shot. So I don't know. I feel like again, it's just the Eagles division to lose. That they have the better team. New York can be intriguing, but we just have to see what Danny Dimes there does. I mean, if he finally secures the football, if he can secure the football, they might have a shot. But yeah, to me, it's Phillies to lose.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Giants now. I'm playing. Test me for drugs right now, right? But Tyrod Taylor doesn't move the needle for the Giants, I don't think. Matt Breida doesn't move the needle for the Giants. They did get better on offensive line. Carson Wentz did go to the Commanders. But But other than those people, I really don't see them doing much. Tyrod is still gonna be playing second fiddle to Danny Dimes, and I just don't trust. I don't trust the what's the word I'm trying to find here? The direction of the Giants right now. I think that's where I don't trust. I think after they just were so sunken with Eli and just relied on Eli, I just think they really don't have much of a direction after that. So I kind of think they need to find themselves in that regard. It's going to come down between Dallas and Philly. Philly was hot and cold throughout last year. Dallas was the better team last year. I don't really don't know how a 12-win team in the Cowboys are going to respond not having Cooper, just having CeeDee Lamb. They did get Michael Gallup from they did Dante Fowler from Atlanta. They did do some things. Dak Prescott is a good regular season quarterback. But the Cowboys are just kind of inconsistent. I do think Philadelphia on paper does have a better team. How do you transition a better team from paper to actual play? That's always the question mark right there. I think Philly actually does. No, I'm gonna break from y'all because y'all picked Eagles both. I don't want to make it a three-man weave. So I'm actually going to say the Cowboys are going to be one game. We're going to be one game.
Wow.
Wow.
That's bold.
Bold. Hot take.
There would be one game better than the Eagles. That's going to be my commentary when it comes to who's going to
very friendly there.
Whether it be 11 and 6.
I'll tell you this though, betting wise, Eagles and Cowboys are tied for best chances to win the division. Plus 145.
Nobody was going to pick the odds on the Giants. So nobody definitely picking the odds on the Commanders. So this is not happening with that. I do think Greg Ward and Pascal, I think they're good additions to the Eagles. I just need to see more from Jalen Hurts. I need to see Hurts hurt his competition, and that's just going to be the Cowboys. In the rest of that division. Moving on to the NFC North division. Ooh, it's going to be a little colder in Green Bay now that Aaron Rodgers don't have Devontae Adams anymore. But Green Bay was 13-4. Minnesota was 8-9. Chicago was 6-11. And as you mentioned before, the Detroit Lions are 13-1. Where do I even begin when it comes to this division? Like I said, Devontae Adams is no longer there. That was the best weapon Aaron Rodgers has had in a very long time. I don't even know if Randall Cobb, the ageless one, is even breathing right now. Is he even still on the team? I didn't even check. I don't even
He's still there. He's still
there. Ageless. He is ageless. Man, he is gonna be the Tom Brady of Green Bay. All right, he's going to be 80 years old, still playing football in Green Bay because clearly the cold weather rejuvenates his body to be there forever. Minnesota, can you really trust Kirk Cousins? And I think that has been a staple of this show since we've been doing.
I mean, the question is, do you really want to trust him?
You really don't.
Kirk Cousins.
You really don't.
It's Kirk Cousins. I mean, he has a great receiver, but
Justin Jefferson is hellacious. Thielen, hellacious, but you got no real solid quarterback. But I know last year I did pick the Bears. I remember I picked the Bears last year. That definitely went against me. It went against me really. It went south really early.
You picking the Bears again?
Double down.
We'll see.
Double down.
The Detroit Lions are on Hard Knocks. To me, are they going to be as much as a joke? Because I really can't call them entertainment. Are they going to be as much as a joke on Hard Knocks as they are on the field? I predict so. I do think Green Bay takes a major step back. It's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers though, no matter what. Like, because even that dude Tunyon, who they re-signed, came out of nowhere and he was catching everything that came his way from Aaron Rodgers. My thing is the Dean that last year from this year, we don't have those same COVID rules anymore. You really have to rely on Aaron Rodgers because once Aaron Rodgers goes down, if he goes down, he's been pretty reliable. But if he goes down, Jordan Love is in charge, and we've seen for 1 week.
Oh boy!
For 1 week, we've seen how bad that was going to be. So
even this year in the preseason, it was horrible watching him play.
See how bad it's going to be. So for me, I am going to trust in Justin Fields one more time. Wow. I'm trusting you one more time, Justin Fields. If you're watching, I hope you're watching.
Yo, what you drinking over there, yo?
This is just
seriously.
Water. I'm trusting you, Justin Fields, one more time. Just one more game.
It's another hot take here.
That's it. One more game.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, Justin Fields is gonna be running for his life starting game 1. All right, running for his damn life.
Be that
he's gonna have the most steps in the NFL.
My man's gonna have a Fitbit on, and it's gonna have the most steps probably behind. Well, it can't be behind Joe Burrow anymore because he definitely got a better line now. But, but yes, one more time, I'm gonna go for the previous 6-11 Chicago Bears to at least be a 10-win team, 11-win team. I don't think Green Bay's getting 13 this year. I don't think Green Bay's going to get it. I don't see them getting 13. I think the older Rodgers gets, yes, he had a great season last year in terms of MVP type caliber stuff, but I don't see it this year. So I'm on the hot take, go Chicago one more gun. Ben, right quick, what you
Well, I'm not taking Chicago, I'll tell you that. I feel like Chicago is gonna be dead last in that division. I think the Lions edge them out. Yeah.
I think Chicago will be dead last in the whole league.
Yeah, I feel bad for Justin Fields. He's getting a defensive coach right now. He has no weapons. It's a complete rebuild over there. I feel bad for the poor kid. He's gonna struggle. It's gonna be hard. I see 3 to 4 games max wins, and that's being generous. That's gonna be
way
rough.
generous.
We're going to shock the world.
That's gonna be rough go. The Lions are gonna be the Lions. I think they'll be slightly better than they were last year, but that's just about it. And then I think it comes down to Green Bay and Minnesota, and actually I'm leaning towards Minnesota. They're getting an offensive-minded coach this year, so Zimmerman's out. I just don't trust what Green Bay has right now. They have no number 1. I think maybe they have a number 2 in Lazard, which is gonna be their number 1. Their running backs are okay, but they don't rely on the running game as much as that they are a pass first team, and when you don't have the weapons and Aaron Rodgers doesn't trust you, he doesn't throw it. We've seen that time and time again. So I think he's gonna struggle a little bit, especially early on. So I think Minnesota can get an advantage over that. Kirk Cousins, not the greatest quarterback in the world, especially when it really matters, big games, he kind of folds in, but he can win you a lot of regular season games. I feel he can win this division. So I'm going with Minnie.
Yeah, my biggest take in this is how do you replace 1,500 yards receiving? That's what Devontae Adams had last year. Do you know who was the second in Green Bay?
Randall Cobb?
Not even 500 yards. It was
Tunyon?
No. It was Alan Lazard with 513 yards.
Jesus Christ.
So they take a huge step back this year. I'm gonna ride with Ben on this. It's gonna go Mini, Green Bay, Detroit right behind Green Bay, and rounding out Chicago at the end there. I think out of this division, Minnesota runs away with it, and Green Bay and Detroit fight for a wild card.
I mean, you have to remember, the Vikings have a really good game. I mean, they're a really good team, especially offense. They got
Yeah.
Cook, two good
Dalvin
wideouts.
Cook,
They have a
two good
decent,
wideouts.
they have a decent tight end, in Irvin, I think it is. They have a decent team. Kirk Cousins can get it out. He takes some chances, and now they have an offensive coach. I feel like they're gonna pop.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Yeah.
Minnesota definitely has a good team. I definitely see them definitely being better than Green Bay, especially early on. I just don't. It's just that guy Kirk Cousins. He's cost me some parlay bets. I tell you that much. I know for a fact he's cost me some money, but
Yeah.
it just is what that is. And then when was it Jefferson? It was Jefferson that went down, or it was a Thielen that went down.
Thielen was down a lot.
Thielen went down.
It struggled after that.
Yeah, he was hurt. He
Yeah.
wasn't
Went down
100%.
too. So you
No.
know,
I put it this way: Minnesota's third string wide receiver had 655 yards receiving.
And
And
mind
if I
you,
tell you his name, you don't even know who
yeah,
he is.
and they put
KJ
up
Osborne.
and they put up decent amount of points. Minnesota did back, and that's again with a
Yeah.
defensive coach. Now they have an offensive-minded coach. I feel like they're gonna air it out a little bit more.
If you want to trust Kirk Cousins' arm, then that might be giving a lot of people interceptions. So
Hey, I feel you can live
I
with
mean,
interceptions
I mean,
sometimes.
he went 33 touchdowns to guess how many interceptions? Take a guess.
He probably
Under or
had,
over 10?
I say under 10.
well, you just said over under, so it's probably gonna be under.
It's under. Seven interceptions last year.
That's
Yeah.
impressive for him. For him, that's highly impressive.
Now,
I mean,
now
they
he
were in a
was
lot of
sacked a
close
bunch,
games.
28 times.
Yeah,
So.
they were in a lot of close games too. I mean, some of those games the defense blew it for them. So I don't know. I see them. I don't see them like going on a roll and just steamrolling and getting 13 wins. But I feel them they can win this division. It's very winnable for them.
Yeah, it's very winnable.
This is probably the first time in a very long time Green Bay is not really going to be like this all out favorite, like they've been the past few years. And that was definitely because of Devontae and Aaron being together. NFC South time. Ah man,
Crown jewel there.
13-4 in Tampa Bay, 9-8 New Orleans Saints, 7-10 Atlanta Falcons, and the 5-12 Carolina Panthers. If I remember, somebody thought Carolina was going to be better. I think that was.
I thought so. I mean, they started like, okay, maybe they'll do it, and then they just went sideways.
It didn't help that it didn't help that the CMC went down also.
Well,
they went back in time. That's what they did because they brought in Cam Newton.
They tried everything, man. What they end up with? 4 wins?
5.
5?
5-12. That's what they were.
Goodness.
And actually, because you picked Carolina in that division, I'm not gonna clown you like how you clown my Bears. Both of y'all clown the Bears. I'm gonna let you start off, Ben. How do you see the South shaking up? Can the 40, can the ageless one also, Tom Brady, can he repeat his last year's success?
Yeah, I mean, just by default, here I'm going with Tampa Bay, just because of Tom Brady. I'm giving it to them because every other team is new quarterback, new coach, new something. I mean, don't get me wrong, even Tampa Bay's a new coach and new coordinators, but at least most of the players they know Tom Brady already. They've been with him at least the last 2 years. There's a little bit of advantage. I don't know how Baker's gonna play behind that O line that Carolina has. I mean, it's not that Cleveland lineup that he was working with, so I think he's gonna have some growing pains there. Atlanta rookie QB or Mariota. Mariota is very fragile, so he could be out by week 3. You never know. And then the Saints, again, new coach, new everything, and you trusting Jameis Winston. I mean, I know we're ready to see if that LASIK surgery worked, but I don't have faith in it. I think he's a little colorblind on top of that. So I just don't. I think it's going to be between the Saints and Tampa, just because the Saints should, in theory, have a a decent amount of defensive players left that were there and they could still play defense, but offensively, I don't know. I don't trust them too much with Jameis. So I'll say Tampa wins the division. I don't see them winning as many games again, but I can see them winning 10, 11 games and pull that division out.
Lou, do you see improvement from Jameis? You see what I did there? You see what I did?
I do actually. I think. Listen, the Saints until Jameis got injured last year were a really good team. They were there. I think they get Michael Thomas back, big win, healthy. I think you got Alvin Kamara still healthy there, and the draft pick they made with Chris Olave. I think he's just going to open up the floor that much more for Jameis Winston. And I think Tampa takes a step back. I'm going to put my hot take out there, and I don't think Brady makes it through the whole season. I think Brady's gone before the season's over.
Wow. That's a real hot
yeah,
take
they don't.
there.
Whoa.
Everybody just that offensive line scares the crap out of me. And
Well,
Tom's
they did
45.
lose a starter.
They lost a couple starters. The 2 to free agency, 1 to retirement. And Tom is 45. And for the first time on that last interview, Tom looked 45. Like he looked his age. Yeah, I think Carolina is a hodgepodge mess. They don't know what's going on down there. They're bringing quarterbacks left and right. And we all know Atlanta's in that rebuilding phase. I mean, they got some young weapons. I think we're going to see their quarterback, Riddler, pretty early on. Because till you mentioned it, I forgot Mariota was on that team. I was still wondering who the hell was the quarterback for Atlanta.
Yeah, he's their starter.
So yeah, I think New Orleans takes the big step forward. And the new era beyond Sean Payton take over. And Jameis Winston, I think Jameis was going to axe to grind with Tampa Bay too for how they did him dirty. So yeah, he comes back with some salt on the wound and trying to get this monkey off his back. So I'm taking the Saints to win the division.
Wow.
Hot takes.
Tom Brady does not make it through this season. I'm not gonna waste my breath on Atlanta. I think Carolina will be better than Atlanta. But that's not. That's not.
It's gonna be close.
It's gonna be.
They're gonna fight it out.
They're gonna duke it out to see who's gonna be the worst of that division. It's tough. I don't know much about Dennis Allen to say, and nobody really is, because it's his first time taking him for Sean Payton. So, and that's kind of a big shoe to fill. And now you really have a whole season to say, this is my team. Jameis, I definitely will say, is probably one of the best people you will ever see in a pregame warm-up or a pregame a hype meeting. Like Jameis is locked in always. Like I've seen many videos, his eyes are bulging, like he is paying full attention. Like he is the biggest hype man when it comes to
I think he has a future in that, man. Some rapper needs to hire him up, put him on stage. He's your hype man for life.
He could be a split star for somebody's buster for but it's going to be between those two teams. Is between Tampa and New Orleans. 45-year-old Brady, like in Lou said it, like in the last interview, like he looked different, but he also he had like surgery. I don't know, like he had like some Botox going on.
Yeah, he probably had some work done or something.
It's Florida. What can you say? It's Florida, but I still like the weapons that Tom has, even though he might not have much of a line. I still like the weapons he has. And Tom just makes plays. If you're going to tell me, do I trust the experience on Tom Brady or the player Jameis Winston, that kind of makes a little bit of a difference. Tom is smart enough. He's 22, 3 years he's been in the league. 22, 23 years he's been in the league. That's a really damn long time. He's and none that time, you can't say this man has not seen it all. He has seen everything. He's had bad lines before. He knows what it feels like.
He's carried a couple of bad teams, bad receivers.
He's carried a lot of bad teams, but also I do remember that time he did get hurt, and I do remember when New England had to go with Garoppolo, and that was the legend of Garoppolo. After that, he got his hype because Tom Brady was hurt. I can see it happen again. That's the sad thing about it. As much as I want to go with Tampa to win it, I kind of see New Orleans getting this division though.
Wow.
I think New Orleans has this division.
No
I don't know much about Dennis Allen to say he's gonna be, a new visionary for the team. But I think New Orleans has it. Like I think it's their division to lose. I think it's gonna be a little bit of a shakeup when it comes to the NFC in terms of all those top teams. Because
I don't know, man. You're
I
losing
think
Sean
Atlanta.
Payton.
I mean,
Sean Payton.
Tampa Bay.
Clever offense.
Tampa Bay got a tough schedule though.
Tampa has a tough off. I mean, they have a tough schedule, but like I said,
Tampa got Dallas, New Orleans, Green Bay, Kansas City all to start.
Yeah, it's and sometimes how you start isn't always how you finish either. Yeah. But it's a big shoe to fill for Sean Payton, like to take over from that. And remember, New Orleans has kind of been going through it. Like you went from you no longer have Breeze, now you no longer have Payton. Now it's a brand new era and stuff, and I think there's a lot of pride. New Orleans plays a pride. I would say that.
Yeah, there's pride, but you have to remember before Breeze got there and Peyton got there, that was a losing franchise. So they're gonna. I see them coming back with the paper bags and the inks.
and then Tampa Bay ends with from week 12 to week 16. It's Cleveland, New Orleans, San Francisco, Cincinnati, and Arizona.
It's tough.
That's a tough stretch.
It's tough.
That's a tough stretch.
I just personally, until I see what this guy draws up offensively for the Saints, I just don't trust it. Like they're stepping way back on offensive schemes and whatnot when they lose Peyton, because he was very good offensive mind. So yeah, and I believe this guy's a defensive leaning coach. So I don't know. I'm iffy on their offense.
It's possible, but we'll see what happens. That's
the beauty of it.
That's why we play. That's why we play to win the game.
There you go.
And by playing, we also bet. But speaking of betting, also want to remind people to watch and view us on A2021Vision.com/picks. That's our homie picks page. As well, on that page, you'll also see there, if you click the ad below our main. Have y'all seen the site? It looks great.
Yeah, I went to the site.
The site looks great.
Yeah,
it's the ad for FanDuel Sportsbook. Excuse me. If you click there, you can unlock a $50 free bet. For new users. But still, it's if you haven't done it yet, go on, bet. If you're legal in your state, go on and do it. But yeah, I mean the site looks great. I mean we came from nothing, y'all. We moving up.
Yeah. I know. We got a website now. I was like, oh wow, it's a little fancy too. So
and we getting more and more new things coming soon. Like we moving up in the world. But like I said, everybody check us out on A2021Vision. AFC time. AFC
the real
time.
division.
Me and Ben's division. Both our teams in this one.
Toughest division in football, AFC.
Toughest conference, period. especially when we get to that last division we're going to talk about.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to feel bad for everybody in that division is going to have hell to go with. But we're going to start with the Super Bowl losing teams division. The AFC North. Cincinnati was the division leader at 10-7, followed by the Pittsburgh Steelers at 9-7, the 8-9 Browns, and the 8-9 lowly Baltimore Ravens, who was already starting off on a good and bad note. We've always been the freaking preseason champions. But then we go and lose Poe. Damn it, we lost Poe. I don't know how we recover from losing Poe. And for all those who don't know, Poe is our mascot. That was a pretty funny video. That whole mascot versus these kids thing, that shit was funny.
Yeah.
Like it was like some grown ass people that just saw these kids and said they had the Michael Jordan thing, said fuck them kids.
These kids yeah, they were just trucking them. Yeah, a bunch of mascots just trucking them.
It was like for all those times you say you can't do corporal punishment, you can't beat your kids anymore. They took it out on them. So I don't know if they were like big brothers in those costumes or grown men beating these kids up, but that was pretty funny. But when those kids got they got my mascot, man. So I'm sad about that. But being it is my division, I guess I'll go on this one.
We save you for last. Let's save you for last.
Save me for last. Cool. So Lou, I'm gonna go to you then. Does Cincinnati go the distance this year? And who do you think
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, and it's because I think Lamar Jackson is gonna play with the biggest attitude in the league this year. He's yet to get paid. I think he's gonna pull y'all gonna have to pay me kind of move, where he just runs through the league. I think, and he's done it all the right ways. You know, he hasn't complained, hasn't moaned. You know, we've seen Kyler Murray get paid. You know, we've seen Russell Wilson get paid, and Lamar's only won an MVP and you know, won every year he's been in the league. Last year it was kind of tough for him, but I think Baltimore runs away with this division. I think Cincinnati gets a wild card. I think Cleveland, they lost to Deshaun Watson for too long. You lose any kind of player for 11 games, especially quarterback. It's hard to get him back into a groove. And, you know, Jacoby Brissett, it just doesn't do it for me. Doesn't move the needle. So, yeah, I think Lamar Jackson, you know, hot take, wins MVP, gets the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
Super
Bowl.
Ben, do you think the Pittsburgh winning streak of one Mike Tomlin continues? And who do you think wins this division?
Well, will Mike Tomlin be above 500? That's gonna be a close one. Depends. If I was Pittsburgh, I would take that losing season and throw Pickett out there to see what you got. Like, forget about Trubisky. Just throw out the kid there and just see what you got. I mean, because he's been playing well enough in the preseason. He's made some plays when he's had to. But yeah, I don't see them making that much more noise. And other than that, for them, it'll be the fight to get above 500, basically. Yeah, Cleveland's gonna be at the bottom of the division. I mean, you lost your high-profile QB there for various reasons. So I don't trust that lineup there. I think it's gonna come down between Cincinnati and Baltimore. I think it's gonna be neck and neck actually there, but I do believe Baltimore wins the division this year. People just forget how devastated the injuries got them last year. And they were still in, you know, pretty close in some games. It's not like they were getting blown out. So if they get some of those pieces back, I think their offense is going to get a little bit better this year. They're going to score a little bit more consistently. And I don't get me wrong, I really do like what Cincinnati's done. They've shored up that offensive line. They still got the weapons. So Cincinnati can still be a big threat. It's just, you know, they made it to the Super Bowl. Usually those teams that make it to the Super Bowl, they take a step back. So I'm just going off with that. So I think they're going to take a step back. I do believe they'll make the playoffs again, like probably like through the wild card. But yeah, I think close division, but I think Baltimore pulls it out.
2 for Baltimore.
And did y'all fire your athletic trainer? Because that man was horrible. Like, all your running backs went down. The mascot goes
medical
down.
Staff.
Like, the whole athletic
Reboot.
department.
Clearly, he's still around, right? He's clearly still around. We can't keep anybody else. But man, that was a tough year for us. For us, I mean Baltimore. For all those who can't tell, maybe y'all can tell Baltimore is my favorite team. I don't have
Yes.
anything to. I don't have no
I
paraphernalia.
know.
I had no
But gives
paraphernalia.
that idea away, but
We could prove that. um, but Cincinnati handed they handed us a wake up call. I think. For one, I don't think anybody saw Cincinnati being as good as they really were. And that was mainly was because they had no offensive line, and yet they still somehow, some way pulled out 10 wins and almost won a Super Bowl with nothing.
yeah.
Before I get more in Cincinnati, the Pittsburgh does have Mitch Trubisky, and that in part is before I even go any further, rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins, because he was going to be Pittsburgh's quarterback and then he passed away. But Mitch Trubisky is around. Money Mitch for some, or cost you money, Mitch, for others. You got Deshaun Watson, who's now a Cleveland Brown, 11-game suspension, if I'm not mistaken. And that was an extension from when he was supposed to get a 6-game suspension. Jacoby Brissett, yeah, you really can't trust him much at all. He's been around the league for a while. He's been solid, to say the
A
most.
good backup, but that's about it.
Yeah, but I don't see how much he's really going to help Cleveland really get through trying to piece things together until you get to Deshaun time. And Deshaun's really, he's going to be very well rested by the time that week 11, 12 goes around.
Yeah.
He's going to be well rested. He had a whole year and a half off. So it's going to be kind of troublesome Cleveland late, because now you're dealing with something different. They did get Amari Cooper. I don't think anybody mentioned that, but Amari Cooper is on this team. I think he's going to be an addition, a big addition. But Baltimore did get Marcus Williams, a safety from New Orleans. And Baltimore's main thing has always been defense. So much more so that we always tend to forget about the offense. We rely, as much as Aaron Rodgers relied on Deontay Adams, is as much as we rely on our tight ends. That's kind of been the narrative, and that's not the narrative. That has been the Baltimore Ravens thing since we had Todd Heap, right? Like, that's what we do. We go for tight ends, and we always we did do some nice things in terms of drafting some wideouts. Hopefully these young guys step up and they do good. I don't remember the last time I think we had a really good wide receiver core was Anquan Bolden and Steve Smith, and that's been a while. I really never really had much trust in Hollywood Brown. I know Lamar was sad to see him go. I know Lamar was very sad to see him go. That was his boy. They're both Florida boys, so like that sucked for him. So I think that might have flamed the fires of Lamar wanting to appear like he wants to be out of Baltimore. The contract situation, and I think I had this personal private conversation with Ben about it, or actually with both of y'all about it, which is I'm not really upset that Baltimore is not paying him yet. We didn't make the playoffs yet, and honestly, other than the MVP that he did win, which is beautiful, we only won one playoff game. I need to see something happen this year before you get paid. For me. I need to see him ball out in the not just the first 3 quarters. I need to see you in the fourth quarter when it gets tight, like in the trenches. Like, I can't see you fold against Pittsburgh in the fourth quarter and then they win. I can't see you fold in the fourth quarter against Cincinnati and they win. Like, I need to see some kind of work being done. Like, I know you're athletically, unrealistically gifted. You are a human video game on the actual field. But I need to see this all click in. We can't be. Justin Tucker is our points leader. Like, he's a phenomenal kicker, but I need my quarterback to be at least be right up there with that. Because I get it. You're going to get those points because the field goals and extra points. I need Tucker's points to be not mainly, but a lot of those points that Tucker needs to get, I need those to be extra points. I need Lamar to just like say, you know what? I'm gonna be a 2-time MVP. I don't see him doing that, but I do see him being really damn good this year. Sadly enough, I do think Cincinnati does repeat as the division champion, though. I somehow, some way see them being the division champion. They did get better on offensive line, and I think that's what was really hurting them last year. They did lose CJ Uzama to the Jets, I believe, but they did get Hurts. I think that's a nice thing for them as well. That boy Jamar Chase is a freaking problem. I don't think there's a cornerback that really can just really contain him yet. Baltimore is really crafty when it comes to defensive schemes. Hopefully, you've seen enough of him last year to be like, okay, I could probably scheme something to at least jam him. But that's really tough. Jamar Chase is an extremely tough cover. I think it's going to be Cincinnati and Baltimore, 1A, 1B. I can see them both being 11-win teams. But I'm going to say Cincinnati gets the edge slightly a little bit.
Split together.
Yeah, because I think the young guys. Yeah, one thing, unlike Stafford and Donald being the older guys who got the win, they got the Super Bowl, so forth. These are young guys, and they got a taste of that. They got a taste of what it looks like to be in that big game, and I think they want more. I think they're still hungry. I need my team to be hungrier, and I think we're going to be just as competitive. Of course, I want my team to be the division leader, but hell, make it to the playoffs. That's what I want us to do first and foremost. I don't care how you make it, just make it. But I do think Cincinnati is the division leader in that one. So, if any Baltimore fans was to at me because I'm wearing this gear, all because I wear the gear doesn't mean I'm going to cap for my team. Like, I feel how I feel. It's just what it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it. Like I said, for me, it's really close. I'm just tossing it up. For me, it's just Baltimore edges them out on the split, but it can go either way for me as well. But Cincinnati did good things. They shored up that line. I'm still not 100% sold on their Mixon. I don't think he's like a bell cow kind of running back, so I don't think he alleviates that much pressure off him as he should. But again, I mean, he carried this team with less, so you can't count them out. But yeah, for me, it's just I feel like Burrow's gonna be there, but I think probably his teammates will regress just a little bit.
Yeah. Moving on to the AFC East, the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills were 11-6. The Patriots somehow, some way, we always count them out since Tom Brady left, and they were freaking 10-7. The Miami Dolphins were 9-8, and the 4-13 New York Jets finish off that division. My question, well, actually, since I went last on this one, I'll start off with this one. Yeah, it's just Josh Allen's division to lose. It's just going to be as simple as that.
Yeah.
I think Mac Jones.
Okay, so on to the next division now. Let's go.
Yeah. I think Mac Jones is gonna, he's gonna do some nice things. I think the more he plays, the more confident he gets. I do think they may give Buffalo a run for their money. I just think Buffalo is just the far superior team in this division. Those 6 losses, however, were kind of concerning because they were kind of erratic. As easy as they were 11-6, they could have easily been 13-4, even 14-2. So Buffalo did have some downtimes in that one, but Stephon Diggs and company, Josh, the defense, I think it's their thing to go with. There's no need to really go against the Jets. And I would be remiss to not mention that Miami definitely did get a big star in Tyreek Hill. However, it's not Patrick Mahomes throwing to him anymore, though.
I mean, but Tua Tagovailoa has some pretty balls, though.
It's Tua. So it's Tua. At least he don't have Jacoby Brissett throwing to him, but it is Tua. And I think Tyreek is definitely going to wreak havoc in that division. He's going to make everybody wish he was back in the AFC West. I just don't see Miami being that solid, though. Mostert and Sherfield from the Niners did come over to Miami, too. Miami's not going to be a sleeper. I don't want anybody thinking that Miami's going to be a sleeper. I still think it's a 3-man race between Buffalo, New England, and Miami. I'm definitely not going to be going for Miami at all. I think how they did Brian Flores that's my personal thing. How they did Brian Flores, I ain't with it. So, the hell with Miami. But I do think they're going to be a good team. Probably in that last race, maybe in a race for like that last playoff seed, I think Miami has that kind of potential. But yeah, Buffalo far and away is probably gonna be the better team. Before I'm gonna go to Ben. Ben, do you think Mac Jones and Bill Belichick in year 2 are gonna be anything better?
I say no. I actually see them taking a step back. I think defensively they're still gonna be pretty formidable because it's Belichick. He's always good with his defense. But they lost McDaniels, so the OC's out, and they put in Matt Patricia, which is the defensive guy, and that's the OC. So I don't trust that move at all. I see Mac Jones taking a step back. I think they're gonna struggle. I think it's gonna be between the Jets and them for the last place in the division, to be quite
Malcolm
honest.
Butler came home though, bro. Malcolm Butler came home.
I don't care, bro. They're going backwards. I do not like any of the moves they made. They still don't have a receiver that can separate. They made some weird picks in the draft. I don't know what they're doing. To me, it feels sometimes like Belichick is just putting back the team back to how it was before he got there. So when he leaves, they're still crap. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just really weird moves. I really don't trust what's going on there. Like I said, defensively maybe he's gonna help. They'll be hovering at a winning clip, but I just don't see them doing anything offensively. He was limited last year, and I think it's just gonna get worse this year for Mac Jones. Yeah, but it's gonna be the Bills' divisions to lose. And I think Miami will do a little bit better this year. I can see them popping a little bit. Tua doesn't have the arm strength like Mahomes, but he does have accurate. He does throws an accurate pass. He does gets the ball out pretty quickly. I think if you give him an offensive coach like he has now, I think this is going to build his confidence. I can see them making some noise. I don't see them winning the division, but I think they might be up there, second place, fighting for a wild card. I don't know if they'll make it, but I see that. That's how I see it. I just don't see the Patriots. I think they're just going backwards. And the Jets, I mean, they got some good moves. They made some good additions. The roster is looking really good, but I just don't think they're still there yet. I don't know. Mo Salah, his defensive coach, I don't know what he's gonna do with Zach Wilson this year, and he's already got the knee injury. So I think the Jets are gonna be the Jets, but I think it's gonna be between the Bills messing up that they blow it, and Miami just hovering up there close to the top.
So Buffalo. Lou, already
yeah,
let's go.
It's gonna be a Buffalo, right? Like we can move on here. Patriots don't have a coordinator. We don't know who's running that offense. The Jets always find a way to beat the goddamn Jets. Yeah, and Miami, I don't know. I can't trust Miami. Can't trust them at all. I think Miami puts everything, one of those teams that put all the ingredients in one pot and then just mix it up and see what comes out right now. So yeah, it's Buffalo. Next, moving on.
All right, moving on. Week 1, by the way, Ravens at Jets, and it's gonna be the return of Joe Flacco versus Baltimore. Just saying that, but
revenge game.
Revenge tour. AFC South. We know Ben is gonna go last on this one. The 12-5 Tennessee Titans, the 9-8 Indianapolis Colts, the 4-13 Houston Texans, and a 3-14, as mentioned before, Jacksonville Jaguars. So I'll go first on this one. I'll go to you after this one, Lou. I just don't know, because there's only really 2 teams in this division. We know this.
It really is, yeah. There's only 2 teams.
I just don't know how much. I don't know if Matty Ice can stay hot enough to torch Tennessee. That's honestly what I just don't know. How much does he really have in the tank left? because I think he gave all his good years in Atlanta. Now, granted, I do think he's an upgrade from Brissett. But I also see Matty Ice have a lot of bad games too. Now maybe he's in a different scenario, different situation, different place. Maybe he does improve. He's no longer in the same old Falcons organization. So maybe there's something that goes with that. But Tennessee is still just tough. They get Robert Woods. You get Robert Woods, imagine he was out on the IR last year, but before he was out, that man was running wild with Cooper Kupp. Now, granted, they don't have what's the dude who went from Tennessee to
AJ Brown.
Yeah, Brown. Yeah, like they don't have
AJ
that.
Brown.
But they still got some solid stuff in Tennessee. The same I feel about Kirk Cousins, the same I feel about Tannehill. The hell you gonna have? I just don't really trust the quarterback play in Tennessee. I think they did a lot of nice things, but somehow, some way, I definitely don't think anybody figured out Derrick Henry, but I do think Indianapolis is going to be the division leader in this one. I think they maybe get to 11-6. Tennessee maybe 10-7. So yeah, I'm gonna go Colts in this division. I think Matty Ice is an upgrade in terms of the quarterback position. I think he might be the best quarterback in this division right now. So I think that alone is gonna get them over the hump a little bit. What you think, Boo?
Yeah, I second that. I think Matty Ice is going to have the best running back in the league on his team. Michael Pittman, beast. Yeah, the Colts. This is the Colts division to lose right now. They got all the right pieces at the right time. I think Matty Ice is capable enough to take this team. It's not on him to win the games anymore. It's defer to your running back, hit your wide outs, like play within yourself kind of position they're putting him. Sort of the way Peyton Manning went to Denver and that team wasn't on his shoulders to win a game. So I think Matty comes in here and, like you said, does what he needs to do. I'm picking 11-6 record as well for them, with Tennessee coming up the rear. Jacksonville and Houston are fighting for the first pick in the draft. So, yeah, I'm taking Matty Ice and the Colts in this one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, I will agree with you guys. I think we have the better shot to win the division this year. I still don't count Tennessee out though. Mike Vrabel was just a really good coach. He just manages to get. I mean, they won the AFC the conference just last year, so nobody saw that one coming. So that he still gets them to play. But yeah, I just they lost AJ Brown, which is a good pickup, but I don't know if that's gonna be a big game changer for them. Either way, they get Henry back. Again, he's good, but it's just like the Titans are just good at winning these like tight, dirty games. You know what I'm saying? Like messy games. So they're really good at that. So they can, easily split the games within the division. I'm sorry, and get the win. But I think the surprise team might be Jacksonville. I think they're going to be a little bit better than people think. They do have really good talent. They just didn't have a coach. I mean, their coach was a hot mess last year. I mean, so I'm not counting them out 100%. They did have a decent defense last year. Now they have, some better weapons. And again, just an actual coach might help them out a lot. Trevor Lawrence, I think people are sleeping on him a bit. He's a really good, young QB. Again, I think it's Indies to lose. I just don't trust their receivers. I gotta see them do more. That's it. Colts win it.
I'm sorry, I was sleeping on Trevor Lawrence. I'm sorry.
You are. I'm telling you, they're gonna be better.
Trevor Lawrence. I was definitely sleeping on Jacksonville because I'm looking great. Whoo. Now I think last year around this time, we were saying just how tough the NFC West division was. And 12 months later, Boy, oh boy, has the AFC West been now the toughest division to get through.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, the amount of changes that happen in this division. Freaking the Raiders have been forming like Voltron. I mean, the fact that you lose Tariq Hill, but let's get to the records from last year. The 12-5 Kansas City Chiefs, the 10-7 Las Vegas Raiders, the 9-8 Los Angeles Chargers, and the 7-10 Denver Broncos. And that was 7-10 with Drew Lock. Let's put that in perspective. You lose Tyreek Hill. You put in Juju Smith-Schuster. So that means you're going to get the TikTok twins of Schuster and Pat Mahomes' brother. So I don't know how serious Juju's going to take practice and all this other good stuff. But Lou, do you think Juju is going to be more impactful on the field with Pat Mahomes, or do you think he's going to be more impactful on TikTok with Pat Mahomes' brother?
All right, so my take for this division, can we just take whoever comes in fourth and put them as the NFC East winner, like as a wild card or something? Because I think all four of these teams deserve to be in the playoffs. It's really stacked, this division. I hope Juju does show up more on the field than off the field. I think it's replacing Tyreek Hill is going to be a big monster for KC. Justin Herbert is about to take that next step up. I think you got Russell Wilson over at Denver now. They have high expectations, and then Las Vegas has a bunch of expectations now with everything they did with Devontae Adams coming in. So this division is going to be crazy. I think they all finish above 500 in this division, and it's going to suck to not have one of these teams in the playoffs when everything's said and done, and it's going to suck to have somebody from the NFC East in the playoffs. But my prediction is I'm going to go with Justin Herbert and the Chargers and the LA Chargers to win this division with Kansas City taking the wild card.
Ben, what you thinking, man?
I think he read my notes. I was like, I'm actually leaning the same way. I really like what the Chargers did. They've shored up their line. They got some defensive pieces in there. That was something that they were really struggling with. Their defense, they were giving up a lot of points. So now you have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. So that's a good little matchup there. I like what they have there. I like Denver's also pretty good. I mean, I got to see what Russell can do. I mean, he gets a lot of fanfare, but end of the day, he still was struggling a bit in Seattle. Could be personnel, could be the schemes that they were running. We'll see. That remains to be seen. So I got to see just what Denver can do. And I just feel bad for the Raiders, man. I just feel they're gonna end up last, and they're still gonna have a really good team that's not gonna make it. I think it's gonna come down between KC and the Chargers. I don't want to count out Andy Reid yet. I know they lost Tyreek Hill, so they lost that explosive play, but they still have Kelsey. They still have all these other weapons, and you still have Mahomes. The man's ridiculous. So I see them between 50-50 between the Chargers and KC, but I'm leaning towards the Chargers, and yeah, KC, probably one of them two is end up in one of the wild cards for sure.
Wow. So I don't really know where to go with this one. We can all joke and clown on Russell Wilson's "Let's Ride" audition tapes. I think that's still classic to me. I'm always saying that like all season. I don't care if I'm not even a Bronco fan. I'm always saying, "Let's ride." Bronco country. Let's ride. That's just funny. It's hell to me. But Vegas, like I said, formed like Voltron. They got they got Devontae Adams. They even got DeMarcus Robinson from Kansas City. It was another wideout. But KC still does have Pat Mahomes. They still have Kelsey, Edwards Hilaire. The Chargers, I think they're probably they think they're going to be the sleeper of this division. And it's like I said, it's 4 extremely tough teams. I really want to go with the Raiders, but I just don't trust Derek Carr. I think as explosive as Carr can be, he just doesn't keep it together every week. And I think that's going to be the bane of his existence or the Raiders' existence. Now, granted, last year was a completely different year. I've never seen a team with so much damn adversity. Like how the Raiders had to go through. I mean, you had your star wideout decide he wanted to be GTA. You had your coach who decided he wanted to be a grand wizard almost. You know, it was a wild time for the Raiders. I think on paper the Raiders may have the best team. I think KC still has the experience of what it looks like to be a winner, but I also think the Chargers have what it takes to be the best team in the division. And not to sleep on Denver. I think Denver, with Russell Wilson, is a completely different quarterback and upgrade from anything you've had since. I don't want to say. Well, I'll say since Manning.
Peyton.
Yeah, I'll say since Manning.
You know, my only hesitation with Denver is again, it's just the first year coach. That's really my only thing. I just don't know what he's bringing. So that's my hesitation to bring them up just a little bit. And again, also we haven't. I know Russ is good, but we haven't seen him, play extremely well football, like really good football for a sustained amount of time. And you can say it was the schemes or whatever it is. So until he proves it in this division, I just can't lean too much on Russ yet.
Yeah, I can see that. I think potentially Denver might still be the bottom of this division, but I also think I agree with all of y'all. I do think every team is going to be above 500. It is going to be terrible to see one of those teams not make it. I think the top 3 teams definitely do make it to the playoffs. I just because
we'll just have the 4th place team play the wild card.
I really got to just
and just they get in.
I gotta blindly put faith into this. I'm just gonna. I really don't like Derek Carr consistency, but I think that team has what it takes. I think it's gonna be Raiders, Chargers, KC.
Wow,
that's what I think it's gonna be.
Wow,
I think it's gonna be Raiders, Chargers, KC.
See, my hesitancy with the Raiders is their defense. I don't trust their defense. They lost their coordinator. I mean, their pieces aren't the greatest to begin with. So that's my biggest, like, out of all the teams there, the biggest concerns for at least the Raiders is in paper, you can say they have the weakest quarterback, quote unquote.
No, they do.
And then they also the weakest defense because Denver's defense is stout. Their defense is not the problem. Chargers just fixed up their defense. Sure, and KC plays good enough defense. So that's really what it's gonna come down to. That's why I really don't think they're gonna be able. They can put up a lot of points. I feel the Raiders are gonna be able to do that, but I just don't think they're gonna keep people off the field.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come down to the offense. I think that's just gonna keep things rolling for them. They have to be offensive enough to try to give their defense some kind of help. But I think they can put up points in no hurry. I mean, in no problems. I think Pat Mahomes is still one of the best in that division, in the NFL period. But I just don't see. I see KC regressing to the point where they're 3rd best in that division, still making the playoffs, but still 3rd best in that division. So that's our AFC wrap up on that. moving into a couple of other things that we have. We have Super Bowl predictions. Who do y'all think is going to be in the Super Bowl? I think who I want to say may shock some, but Ben, who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one, to be quite honest yet. But if I had to guess right now, I would in the NFC I would probably lean towards I don't even want to say Tampa because it's really the NFC really is a toss up there. Yeah, let me think about that, guys, first. Maybe goodness, who came out of it last year? It was the Rams, right?
The Rams, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably gonna be them again. I hate to say that it's gonna be them again, but at this point right now, I just don't. Who's really that good in the NFC?
Tough.
Yeah. So right for now, I guess I'll lean towards the Rams. Just because I really don't see a really good team out of that conference. AFC right now, early prediction, I would lean towards the Bills. John Allen is he's just a really good quarterback. I think that loss really hurts them that they took in 13 seconds left. So I think they're going to be a little bit extra motivated. So I think it will be their year for sure. I think they'll make it to the Super Bowl. But yeah, so Bills, Rams.
Okay. Look,
I'm gonna go Niners versus Baltimore.
a repeat of Super Bowl. Oh, forgot what Super Bowl that was.
Like the lights out ball? Isn't the lights out? Lights out part 2.
Who do you think wins it?
Baltimore.
Baltimore. Okay.
Baltimore. Lamar Jackson pulls a Joe
ask.
Flacco and demands to get paid.
Okay, so Baltimore wins. Lamar gets paid, and we ride off into the sunset with that. I like that. I like.
Yep.
I didn't want to ask.
Very optimistic.
I didn't want to ask Ben who you think is going to win it because you were very unsure of who you wanted to see. For me, as like Ben said, the NFC is very hard to pick. Like honestly, it could be Green Bay, it could be Tampa, it could be the Rams. I'm actually going to go with Lou's pick on the NFC. I really debated with that one for all morning. But I must say San Fran makes it to the Super Bowl. And I do think they go against another team that's in California. I think they're going to go against the LA Chargers.
Wow.
I got Chargers and Baltimore in the conference finals.
I say Chargers, Niners. And I say the Chargers are taking the Super Bowl. I say the Chargers are going to win it. I may be right. I may be wrong. But we'll see.
I know that's a good one.
Offensive player of the year. So actually, before we do that, MVPs. So I believe Lou was saying that Lamar was going to be MVP. He said that earlier. And I want to say what you were saying. Is that what you said earlier? You said Lamar would be MVP. Okay,
I got Lamar winning MVP.
Lamar would be MVP. Ben, who do you think is going to be MVP?
Who will be MVP? I had to guess. I'll probably say Rodgers. He puts up good regular season numbers. But that would be a normal case scenario. But with his receiving core, I don't know if he was gonna be able to do that this year. He would have been the default basically. I can't see Brady doing that much noise just because of the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say Josh Allen. He gets the MVP. It's their year. They get the Super Bowl.
Okay. So Josh Allen for you gets it. For me, this is kind of why I said the Chargers. I think Herbert gets. I think Herbert is going to be the MVP, and I also, in my head, I fooled with the idea of Lamar being a 2-time MVP. Josh Allen, I thought about being MVP. And here's what kind of separated me from Herbert from everybody else. Josh Allen last year from 2020. It's funny to say he regressed, but he slightly regressed. He had less yards, not by much, but he had less yards. And he had more interceptions. Now, granted, it is one more game, but it is what it is. However, inversely, Justin Herbert went from 4,300 yards to 5,000 yards, and that's one extra game.
Yeah,
you can't say he threw 700 yards in one game. That man was balling.
The boy is good.
Listen,
I'm a big Justin.
I got him on
fan.
my fantasy team, so I'll take that.
And I'm glad you said fantasy, because we're also going this season. We're also going to talk a little bit more about fantasy, but that's going to come into our week by week stuff. But that's actually a great segue for later on. But he went from 4,300 yards to 5,000, and that's a one extra game, and he had 7 more touchdowns. I literally think that's why he's going to be MVP, and I think from that, that's why they win the Super Bowl. Now, it's not really often that a MVP wins the Super Bowl, but I think it's going to be one of those years that it actually does happen. But I don't think he's going to be. I think in terms of another, not an MVP candidate, but an Offensive Player of the Year person, would be Jamar Chase, because he's lights out. I think Jamar Chase is him instead, like the skill position, and Lou would say he plays fantasy. Skill positions matter, and that is one of the toughest dudes that's out there in this league right now. And you have a lot of stars: Justin Jefferson, Stephon Diggs. You have big dogs in this league, and I think he's one of the biggest dogs in this league, and he's just starting out. That's who I would think would be a good Offensive Player of the Year candidate, if anything. Anybody have any other ideas of who could be a breakout offensive star, or not even a breakout, just busting ass all year offensively?
I'm leaning towards Justin Jefferson. Actually, I think he's gonna have a really good year. Like I said, a little bit of an offensive-minded coach. I think they're gonna let him loose. Mm-hmm. I can see him putting up some really good numbers. I mean, he's put up good numbers even with a defensive coach. So.
Let's see. Mine is going to be a shocker. It's going to be a Jet.
This is really a shock.
And I'm going to go with Bryce Hall balling out his mind as a running back for the Jets.
Bryce Hall. Y'all heard it here first, y'all. Y'all heard it
Bryce
here.
Hall. So you think he'll be the rushing leader?
I think it's a good possibility with the way that team is designed right now. It's going to be a lot of checkdowns, a lot of screens, a lot of ground and pound. So I have faith in Bryce Hall having a great year for the Jets.
I couldn't pick another running back. I have to go with JT.
What about Defensive Player of the Year? Any ideas to who y'all think is going to be dual wielding Donald again, or?
No, yeah. I think what happened in preseason, you can't give another award. Like, you can't keep awarding that kind of behavior. So I think they go away from that. I think defensively, I'm going to go with Joey Bosa. Having Khalil Mack is going to make his life a lot easier. So I think Joey Bosa comes out of the gate and wins the Defensive Player of the Year.
I think Max Crosby.
Really?
I think Max Crosby. I have a good feeling. I have a feeling about it. I might be wrong.
I'll probably go with TJ Watt.
Okay. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising. It'd be another Watt who wins it, because that runs in the family. You know,
Yeah,
those boys are good on defense.
that's for
I
sure.
mean, yeah, I think that's a good thing. And as you said, as Lou said actually earlier, not too long ago. So coming up for our week to week stuff, which stay tuned for our week one. Weeks 1 through 17, we're going to be giving y'all a little bit. It's going to be a little different this year than last year. We're going to include some fantasy aspects into it. To try to help y'all not just with bets or parlays, but also maybe think about like how can we help you in fantasy leagues? Who do you think is going to be like the standout for that week, or who's going to be like that fantasy stud of the week? So stay tuned for our week one, and just enjoy the show, enjoy the watch. We appreciate you. We support. You know, we love all the support we get. Check us out once again, A2021Vision.com/picks. You can see all the homie picks content, as well as other shows on A2021 Vision. From me, Lou, Ben, check out the homie pick sign and Lou's side. Coming back at you for week one real soon. Peace and love. Peace.